Marvel Zombies is about to unleash chaos, heroes torn apart, villains resurrected, the multiverse dripping with blood and madness. But here's the twist that no one expected. Black Panther shows up, but he doesn't speak a single word. No roar of Wakanda Forever, no sharp command, not even a whisper. Why would Marvel silence one of its most powerful voices? The truth behind this decision runs deeper than you think. Stick around, because once you hear this story, that silence will never sound the same again. The Marvel Zombies series is scheduled to be released on Disney Plus on the 24th of September 2025 and will consist of 4 episodes. The series has been hyped as one of the darkest and wildest things Marvel has ever put to screen. Heroes we've known and loved are twisted into grotesque versions of themselves, villains rise in new ways, and survival is the only rule of the game. But among all the blood, chaos, and alternate possibilities, one detail struck fans like a thunderbolt. T'Challa, the Black Panther, shows up, and yet he does not speak. The question is simple but cuts deep. Why would Marvel choose silence for a character who has always carried such a powerful voice? The answer takes us back to 2020, when the world lost Chadwick Boseman. His passing wasn't just the end of an actor's career, it was the end of a cultural era. Boseman wasn't just portraying T'Challa, he embodied him, and through him, he gave audiences a hero who stood for dignity, strength, and hope. Marvel had to decide how to continue telling stories that involved Black Panther without ever erasing the man who defined him. That decision shaped not only Wakanda Forever, but every project that features T'Challa from now on, including Marvel Zombies. In Wakanda Forever, Marvel made it clear they would not recast T'Challa in the main timeline. The story leaned into grief, legacy, and passing on the mantle rather than pretending nothing had happened. It was a creative choice rooted in respect. Now, in the animated world of Marvel Zombies, the same principle carries forward. T'Challa appears, yes, he is present. But his silence is not an oversight, it is intentional. It is Marvel's way of saying, we will not put words into his mouth when the man who gave him his voice is no longer here. Some fans might wonder why Marvel couldn't just recast the role for animation. After all, different voice actors often step into iconic roles. But T'Challa is different. Chadwick Boseman's interpretation is tied so tightly to the character that replacing his voice, even in animation, risks shattering the emotional bond fans have with him. Instead of risking that, the producers made the choice to let another character, Peter Parker, provide narration in scenes where Black Panther is present. That way, we see T'Challa, we witness his actions, but his voice remains uniquely his, untouchable. In an interview with Screen Rant, showrunner Brian Andrews and Marvel executive Brad Winderbaum opened up about why Marvel Zombies decided not to recast Boseman after his death, despite T'Challa appearing in the animated series. Andrews admitted that if Boseman were still alive, they would have made completely different choices. Winterbaum added that during production on Marvel Zombies, the producers showed an early animatic to Black Panther and Black Panther Wakanda Forever director Ryan Coogler to get his feedback, and the filmmaker had some great ideas that greatly improved T'Challa's scene. And here's where silence becomes powerful. In cinema, silence can carry more weight than words. It forces us to notice, to feel, to reflect. In Marvel Zombies, the silence of Black Panther is more than just the absence of dialogue, it's a tribute. It's a reminder that some legacies should not be imitated, only honored. When we see him fight, when we see his presence in that twisted zombie world, it is Boseman's Black Panther we remember. The quiet allows that memory to stay pure, undisturbed by replacement or imitation. It's worth noting that Marvel actually had bigger plans for Boseman in animation before his death. In What If, he voiced Star-Lord T'Challa, and his performance brought a lightness and joy that fans cherished. In fact, there were early discussions of expanding that version of the character into more stories. But after Boseman's passing, Marvel closed that chapter. They knew that bringing in another actor to continue that version would feel wrong, so those stories were left behind as a final tribute to what Chadwick gave us. Legally and ethically, this choice also makes sense. Using the likeness or voice of a deceased actor is a complicated territory. It requires permission from estates, it risks backlash from fans, and it opens a moral question. Just because technology can recreate someone, should it? Marvel decided against walking that path. Instead of using deepfake voices or recasts, they allowed T'Challa's silence to speak volumes. Now, not everyone agrees with this decision. Some argue that by keeping Black Panther silent, Marvel is sidelining the character, reducing his presence in a story where others are still fully alive in animation. Others believe recasting would keep the character's voice alive and honor the mantle, but Marvel's choice is a deliberate one. It says, T'Challa is not gone, but neither will we pretend he can be replaced. It's a way of keeping him in the universe while acknowledging the absence that fans and creators alike still feel. This is also deeply consistent with how Marvel has handled the Black Panther mythos overall. In the comics, there are endless versions of T'Challa, different timelines, alternate universes, even zombie versions. But the MCU treats Boseman's T'Challa as singular, irreplaceable. That doesn't mean Wakanda disappears, it means Wakanda adapts. It means Shuri becomes the new Panther, and in a series like Marvel Zombies, it means T'Challa remains visible but silent, his presence acknowledged, his voice preserved as sacred. The silence of Black Panther in Marvel Zombies will likely be one of the most striking creative decisions in the entire series. It forces viewers to confront loss not through exposition, but through absence. We look at him, we remember the voice that once carried those words, and we understand why we cannot hear him now. It's haunting, but it's also respectful. So when you watch Marvel Zombies, and you see T'Challa but hear no words from him, don't think of it as Marvel forgetting or ignoring him. Think of it as Marvel's way of holding space for Chadwick Boseman. His Black Panther spoke volumes in life. In silence, he continues to speak still. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think Marvel made the right call by keeping T'Challa silent, or would you have preferred to hear another actor take on the role for this story? And also, which actor do you want to see pick up the mantle of the Black Panther? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading and responding because this is a conversation that means a lot to fans everywhere. If you enjoyed this breakdown and you want more deep dives into Marvel's bold, creative choices, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next one.